Hello Libra, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Libra is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Libra, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 6 of Swords. Very organized, very balanced. I feel like you are kind of right in your Libra energy right now in your life. I feel like you've got a very particular blueprint for your life. A plan that seems flawless. Everything is in place. Everything's going to happen A, B, C, D, all the way down the line, right? I feel like this is kind of your map. You've plotted your course. You're ready to go. I feel like you're somebody who is, sometimes maybe you wait for everything to be kind of just right before taking action. We try to be fully prepared. We try to be, wait for the optimal conditions, just the right timing, just the right alignment before we take action, right? Sometimes this sort of perfection is unattainable. Right, sometimes we have to just sort of get started and allow the plan to evolve and change as we go. All right. I feel like this is very good energy. I feel like this is a lot of organization. This is a lot of networking. I feel like you're somebody that has a lot of, you got like a lot of business cards in the Rolodex, right? I don't know if people still use Rolodexes, but you've got a lot of people, a lot of contacts that you've made, right? So I feel like if there was something that you were to need, you think, I know who I'm going to call. Let me find that business card, you know? You've got a lot of contacts. You've got a really big network, whether this is family or friends or business kind of things. You know a lot of people, and I think that those are people that you could always call when you need their sort of specialty, right? Let's see what we're doing with this energy. Let's put this into some context with the rest of our cards. We've got a 9 of Swords. Oh no, there's despair. There's sort of a rainy day on our plans. I feel like your plans are kind of being, this is like you've got your map out and it's raining and now all the ink is running off your map and it's kind of like the map is gone, right? I feel like there is a significant change of plans right now. Here's that Eon card. And this isn't a bad thing. We got the 2 of Swords, the 10 of, look at the 10 of Cups. Shining brightly up here above the Eon card. We're breaking through to this kind of satisfaction, happiness, and fulfillment that maybe doesn't look much like what we were planning. You know, we've got this blueprint, and I wonder if we're kind of saying, hey, this is something that's much more spontaneous. This is something for which we cannot plan, right? I feel like your fortunes are changing quite rapidly. There's the 4 of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, the Magician, and the 7 of Swords. It's interesting to get kind of the Swords energy, and then we skip around a bit, and then we're back to the Swords energy to kind of remind us, don't overthink it, right? Maybe we have to, right now, we have to look at our blueprint. We have to look at that 6 of Swords and allow the plan to change. Let's reevaluate the plan that we thought we had, because I think things are looking a little different now. All right, we're going to select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to set it down right over here. We're going to put Mr. Tao, the yin yang duck, right on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need. Okay. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. All right. It's a good idea to exercise your intuition. Spirit's telling me that in this situation, we've kind of got that airplane problem, right? The more complex something is, the more chances for something to go wrong, right? And I think they call that the airplane problem, right? Because you got one engine on an airplane, there's one engine that could fail. You put two engines on the airplane, you're kind of doubling your chances that there's going to be an engine that fails, right? And I don't know how rational that is, but that seems to be the message here, that maybe we're being told to sort of simplify, right? To go back to the kind of basics of the plan and just, simple, right? Let's take a look around the room at what we've got. Two major arcana energies only. The Eon, Judgment, Rebirth, Reawakening, the Baptism by Fire, and the Magician. The Magician is in the difficult position of sort of being your worry, right? And the Magician is that card of adaptability, of ingenuity, of using your genius to make the best of a situation or to make a different situation, right? The Magician finds itself in a life, in a place, in a set of circumstances, in a room. This is the stuff you have to work with. So we adapt to the situation. It's kind of the MacGyver energy, right? We see the materials around us and we try to do the very best with what we have. Now, I feel like that there's somebody that you kind of feel is lying to you or deceiving you in some way, right? Spirit's telling me that there's some sort of mistrust with someone. And that's part of that Nine of Swords too, part of this Magician card, that there's a little bit of mistrust, okay? So it could be that in your network here, in your plans, that there is some other element that's coming in that's kind of, we feel like there's someone we can't trust, and now it kind of is putting that black cloud over the plans, and maybe we feel now that it's a good idea to change those plans, okay? I feel like it's, you're being told to take your time and evaluate your plans. Don't just kind of don't just brute force it, right? We've got that Nine of Wands in the future position. Don't just fight your way through. Let's take your time. Okay, there's no rush here. Reevaluate these plans. Okay? You're being told to look for alternatives. Okay? Spirit's telling you to perhaps seek a wiser counsel. And I don't know if that is your higher self or if that is literally, asking someone outside of yourself for some guidance or some sort of objective assessment or opinion, right? So we've got our majors, and I think that this is really the leveling up. I think that your fortunes are really rapidly changing, and we've got to be able to adapt to that, and we've got to be able to make a sound plan to move forward. Don't just jump into something. Okay, because what we're really trying to do is get that 10 of Cups, that ultimate fulfillment and satisfaction. This is that best life. This is the dream come true. I feel like you are leveling up into that life. This Eon card is the doorway to the future, right? But the way you get to that future, I think, is going to be a little bit different than what you thought. All right, so we've got our majors. We've got fire. We've got not a lot of water. The water's kind of up here as the goal, right? The air is really where it's at here. Okay, even the Mercury Magician energy is a little bit of the air in a way too. So we've got a lot of air energy. And we have, an okay amount of earth. An okay amount of earth. But let's talk about the Nine of Swords, because I think the Nine of Swords is, it's the realization that the circumstances have changed. And so that blueprint, that plan, that map that you have sort of no longer applies, right? And it's kind of a wake-up call, There's a little bit of despair. There's like the first feeling we get is, oh, shoot, right? What am I going to do? It's it's kind of like, it's just a surge of like fear and pain right away, right? Because we've lost the map. The map is gone. And it's kind of, now I'm here, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing. It's like me when I'm in the car and the GPS kind of goes down, right? I'm like, oh no, how do I get home? It's not that bad, but sometimes it is, I guess. The roads can be confusing, right? The but the nine of that initial fear and shock, I think, subsides, and you realize that you're perfectly capable of structuring a new plan, figuring things out, and making sure that we're still getting to the goal that we're after, right? It's also Spirit showing me your stove and your oven. So I don't know if you're a cook or if you bake or something like that, but there's something about your stove and your oven right there in your kitchen. Okay, I don't know if maybe it needs to be repaired, or maybe you're cooking something now. Maybe it's kind of saying, go check on the pie or whatever in the oven, yeah? There's a suggestion here to take your time, because if we're hit with that initial fear and shock and that pain, we might do something a little bit rash. We might just get up and Kool-Aid man right through the wall, right? A brute force. We don't want to do that. We want to allow the initial shock to kind of wear down, subside, and cool off. And then we can start thinking, okay, what kind of plan do I need to do? How do I need to navigate from here to where I'm going, to what the goal is, right? I also feel like there's been some sort of, it was something about a contract or maybe an inheritance or something like that. Something that kind of has to do with a transaction. And that's, I think, where that deception energy came in. That's where you kind of don't trust somebody, or you think somebody was lying about something, right? It's not a good time for you to agree to anything, okay? It's not a good time for you to say yes to anything or to commit to anything until we get through this initial shock and the surge of pain from this realization that the circumstances are different, right? And we need to check in with our goal here, okay? And then we're going to do that when we get over there. But the Eon card down beneath everything, I think that you've been right on the edge of something. Like you thought you were almost there, and now something kind of has rapidly changed. It's almost giving me the feeling of a tower moment here, okay? Plan carefully. Plan carefully. There needs to be a more harmonious communication right now with someone. Okay, there needs to be really a kind of almost a heart-to-heart kind of conversation. Yeah. Back to the Eon card. You've been right on the threshold of something, and I think that maybe like you were almost there. You were almost at your goal, and then everything changed. Right? And so it feels as if now this doorway has gotten so far away again. It's like we just got kind of set back a week or a month or whatever it is, right? This is a card that says there's a definite decision that would need to be made in the past, regarding the past, cutting ties with somebody, making a definite decision to go through a doorway and shut the door. Now, we've got kind of that decision back here with the Two of Swords. I feel like you thought you were done with something, but it's not done. Like something from the past is sort of coming back. You thought that you would shut the door on this, but here it is now, and I think that it's disrupting the plans that you had made. Okay? It could be that this was maybe an unfair decision that somebody made toward you or regarding your situation, but you thought you had already kind of crossed that threshold. You've already crossed that bridge, but now something from your past is pulling you back, that it's kind of, no, wait a minute, you know? You are being told by Spirit to look for alternatives. We know this is the goal. We know that you're going to achieve this ultimate satisfaction. This is your destiny, right? This is your dream come true, all right? And I feel like this is still there. This is still where we're going. This is something, again, I'm just getting this idea that some concern from the past was never like fully understood. It was never fully resolved. It's something that you thought maybe was done, but it kind of now has come back. And it's sort of changing everything. And I think really what Spirit means is let's deal with this problem before we move on, before we make any other choices or make any other moves, right? No sudden moves here. The Nine of Wands in the future position is very important. One, I think it's saying don't run Don't go Kool-Aid man through the wall until you finish whatever this air energy is, whatever this drama, this tangle, this misunderstanding, this decision, this judgment, whatever it was. Maybe it might be something legal, it might be something with the contract or the inheritance or something like that. Resolve that stuff first before you move forward. Once you do move forward, do so with all your might, right? I feel like there has been, your current plan has been sort of, there's a delay here. We've got to deal with this stuff before we get back to this. And this is destiny. This is your great good fortune, okay? And once we resolve this, you're being told to move forward with gusto, with resolve, with commitment, with willpower, with a real trust in like full power, right? Full power. And you're going to need the full power because I think that there is still the crossing of this threshold, right? It's kind of like you're going to need the strength to push yourself through this doorway. And it's going to be worth it. It's going to be so worth it, right? Spirit's also showing me a lot of stickers on, I think it's like a mirror, like you have a lot of stickers. I don't know if it's from different places that you visited or if it's products or something like that, but you have a mirror with a lot of stickers on it. I don't know why that's relevant. It might not be. Sometimes these details come through just as validations and confirmations. If they're not meant for you, don't worry about it. Leave it for the next person. All right. We're going to move over to the path of the serpent now. And as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free and it really does help out the channel. Now, as we go, Spirit's also telling me that there's, back to this situation, it keeps pulling us back. Something about making amends, something about don't worry about making amends because they're not listening anyway. Does that make sense? It's kind of, or don't, like I got the feeling that there was that heart-to-heart conversation that needs to be had, but I don't think it's going to happen. I feel like the other person's not listening, right? I feel like don't worry about that now because it's not going to result in anything. Okay? So maybe this is really about kind of cutting the ties over here and really putting that situation behind you. Okay? What you've got in your general energy is this Four of Pentacles. I think you've got a lot of resources. I think that you've got a lot of energy in reserves, right? And maybe we're talking financial here, right? Maybe this is well, it could be related to this sort of inheritance or this contract thing that we were talking about. And maybe it's the idea that even without that, if that does not come through, if that is some sort of a contract or a plan that falls through, you still have more than enough to succeed. Okay, and I don't know what kind of resources that we're talking about, but I think that you've got a backup. You've got a little bit of gas in the reserve tank. You've got a little bit of like a rainy day sort of fund, you know, that even if these plans change, you are still in an excellent position. All you have to do, again, take your time, figure out the next course, plot a new course, and then go full power once you do, right? Because you've got plenty of, plenty of reserves, plenty of, I don't know if it's financial resources or what it is, but you're still in an excellent position, okay? And again, the kind of last thing that we want to do is rush forward, Kool-Aid man through the wall, because you're going to kind of compromise this very safe, very steady position that you're in, right? Spirit, show me your phone screen is broken, maybe, or it's cracked or something. This is kind of also a card that is talking about making sure everything's in order before moving forward again. Okay, making sure that we finish whatever this issue is, that we get this behind us, that we're able to sort of plot a new course, formulate a new plan, double check that everything's working, kick the tires on the car. Okay, and then let's go. Right? Then let's do it. In the environment, of course, we've got the Knight of Pentacles, and that's a vision of the future. And, of course, these two cards are very connected. In the Dove and Serpent spread, these two positions are a pair. Okay. So what do these two cards mean together? Well, to me, it looks like that. It looks like you are looking on the other side of this doorway. This is the card that can see the future. This is the card that's about you kind of looking out into the distance and seeing a vision of who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. Long term, 5, 10 years, whatever your timeline is. I think it's a lot sooner than that, because I feel like you've been right on the threshold and then there's this energy pulling you back. But I think you're like right back up to that threshold again. So this is you kind of peering on the other side of the door and thinking, yep, it's still there. That's still where I want to go. You can still see it, right? Nothing has changed about your goal. The goal is still the same. The route that we're using to get there might be changing. Okay. And that, of course, is, you're peering on the other side of this door. So this is definitely a card that says the goal is the same, but we've got to reformulate, we've got to restructure the plan to get there. Of course, the Magician. It's difficult for you to do something without a plan. It's difficult to just be thrown into a situation and say, there you go. Let's see what you do with it. Puts us on the spot, right? It's like you're just called up on stage and you're saying, here, perform, dance for us, right? I don't know what to do, It's kind of that improvisational energy that I think is difficult for you right now, especially because we started with that Six of Swords. You had that perfect plan, and now there's this disruption. Now the ink has washed away, and we're left with this Magician that just is kind of like, okay, what am I going to do? I'll sing a song. I'll tap dance. I don't know. But this is what it has to be. There has to be a little bit of this adaptation, a little bit of spontaneity, a little bit of the improv in your life, right? And I think that it's going to help you to not come to that full stop that I kind of feel is happening here. I feel like you're kind of stopped in your tracks right now. It's going to prevent that from happening again. So it really is a way for us to keep the momentum, especially with that Seven of Swords there at the end. But back to the Magician, I feel like this does speak to whoever it was that you feel is deceiving you or is not being truthful with you. And I believe it has something to do with this situation. I believe it has something to do with a transaction of some kind. Okay. This is sort of a card that is the communication, but it's not a heart-to-heart. It's not like an honest and open kind of, emotional conversation. It's more of a strategic conversation, right? There's a lot of, it's very, very strategic with this card, and it has to do with you optimizing the circumstances that you find yourself in. Whatever this situation is, you want it to end the best that it can for you, right? We want to fulfill our destiny. We want to get to our goal. What do we got to do in this situation to allow us to keep moving forward, to follow the path, and to get to our goal? The goal is the thing for you, and I don't know what it is. If it's, I don't know. It could be a certain kind of career thing, a job thing, creative thing. It could be a family thing. I don't know. To get to your sort of dream life, that's what you've got to keep in front of you and do everything that you can in the moment, strategically, to get there. Okay? Even if this kind of means that you're just going to kind of tell somebody what they need to hear, or you're going to I don't want to advocate lying here, but it's okay for you to say what you need to say in order to protect yourself. If there's some white lies that need to be sort of, expressed, then that's okay if it's in service of this greater good, right? Now, I'm not advocating lying or any kind of deception or anything like that, but I feel that this card, and I mean, it's Mercury, it's Hermes, right? It's the trickster. It kind of shows us the relative truth of things, how all truth really is relative. And so it allows us to sort of stretch the facts a little bit to suit your needs, if that makes sense. And somehow that pertains to this situation, okay? And whatever this tie with this air energy is, it's not completely going away, because we're ending with the Seven of Swords, which is still, you're on your path. You're on that central sword, you see. You're on the ace, right? You're following your plan there. But there's still those other swords that are kind of coming at you, okay? So to me, that kind of feels as if there are going to be other sort of variables on the path. You know, you're following the GPS, but maybe the GPS didn't know there was a road closure, or there's an accident there, or there's a speed trap, or there's a tree branch in the road or something, right? So we're going to have to sort of, on the fly, we're going to have to improvise. We're going to have to reroute ourselves and take a detour, and we're going to have to figure it out, right? The Magician card, if anything, is self-reliance. Use your own genius to get there. Don't rely on the map or the GPS or the plan that you've structured, because the plan is going to be probably wiped away again at some point in your life. You've got to be able to adapt to that. Rely on yourself. Yeah. Great essay by Ralph Waldo Emerson, which I should start reading again. You know, I've been looking for a good book. If you have any book recommendations, I'm looking for, really what I'm looking for is some like space horror, some hard sci-fi stuff, but I don't know what's good, you know? I've been reading a lot of kind of gothic horror, but I want some kind of space, hard sci-fi stuff. You got any recommendations, please let me know, all right? The Seven of Swords, it's also, I believe, Spirit telling you to look for alternative routes, to always have the kind of the contingency. It's kind of like when you're driving in a car, and I know I use driving analogies a lot. Well, I drive a lot. You're in your lane, and you're just driving. You got a car in front of you. It's smart to always know who's on your left and who's on your right, okay? Who's on third, what's on second, whatever. I don't know how that goes. To know that if something happened in front of you, if something happened when you're on your straight path, when you're in your lane, if something happens right there and you've got to react, do you have a hole on your left, on your right? Can you quickly, can you quickly scooch over? You got to always know where your exits are. You have to always know where your alternate routes are if you need them in an instant. If the person in front of you slams on their brakes, you got to know, can I just swipe over to the right there? Okay, and that's what this card is. Always have alternative. Know that there are different ways that you can get to your goal. If something were to happen, you can just go around a different way, like you know the different mountain passes. Okay, now I want to look at the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. I'd like to see this as some very strong earth energy. I want to see we're at the goal. I want a 10 of Pentacles to go with our 10 of Cups, yeah. I want the great good fortune here, or maybe a Wheel of Fortune would be very good too. If you have a prediction, put it down in the comments. Page of Wands. I feel like this is that kind of adaptable energy too. This is somebody that's kind of learning, learning how to drive again, yeah. Or has found themselves in a new place. And maybe we're talking about on the other side of this doorway, on the other side of whatever this current goal is for you, right? That we're basically going to have to be the magician, a stranger in a strange land. We're going to have to really just kind of realize that I'm in a new place. It's going to require new skills. It's going to require you to sort of learn and not get discouraged. And I think that's a big thing with the Page of Wands, is not getting discouraged. Somebody that's so excited to be living this life that I'm going to try and I'm going to fumble. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to fall down. People are going to laugh at me. I don't care. I'm going to get back up because this is something that I'm meant to do. This is something that I'm going to do, and I am doing it. Even if at the very beginning I kind of suck at it, we get better, we improve, we keep at it. We've got that fiery ambition. Yeah. So this maybe is the encouragement that you need to just deal with this air problem, whatever it is, and get back to it. Just pick up, dust yourself off. Your destiny is right there. Your fortune is right there. Yeah. I like this energy. This feels very encouraging to me. I think you've been wondering if you've made the right decision to follow, to have this as your goal, to pursue this goal. You have. You have made the right decision. Okay. Now continue making the right decisions. We're going to do an extended reading. That would be a good decision. If you want to watch, click up top or down below. New readings for Libra are on Wednesdays and bonus readings on Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. And leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.